welcome back to the Beginner's Workshop. Today I'm going to be doing a review on my new Mitre saw. As you can see, I purchased the Dewalt. It's the model number DWS774, and as it was delivered, the box has taken a bit of a battering, which seems to be a common theme with my deliveries. They don't seem to fare well on the travels to my house. So I'm going to open it up, have a look what's inside and lay it all out. So I've opened it all up now. It comes with the usual instruction manual. It seems fairly easy to follow. As for the saw itself, there's not much that you need to do to assemble it. It comes, everything attached, bar the carry handles. So I'm just going to pop them on now. I'm not going to record that. It's very basic. It's just a couple of screws for each. And then once I've done that, we'll see how it works. Now, having said putting the handles on would be easy. Now, the bolts that it comes with, they go through the top of the saw handle and they come through to the bottom here, but they're not actually long enough for the bolt to fit on. So you have to kind of thread it in yourself, and then once it's in, you're going to have to use something else to prod it in so it bites with the bolt so the nut gets in. So yeah, not as easy as I thought it would be. So it's all set up, ready to go. We'll just have a quick in-depth look at it close up. So first thoughts, it's nice and solid. It's all cast metal. It's a bit wonky on my service. It's not flat. It does definitely recommend you bolt it down. It's something that I will do. I'm going to build a Mitre saw station along the way. So looking at the Mitre cuts, so it comes with the trigger at the front here, which you can lock in place by twisting it, but by raising this up, you can then move it to whichever mitre you want. It goes up to 48 degrees either way for the Mitre cuts, and it's got little holes along the way, which it will click in, depending on what you want. So if we move it back to 0, it's got the integrated rail system, which is one of the bonus features. This is the reason why I actually bought it. So the 774 and the 773 are very, very similar. I will tell you the differences along the way, but they both have this integrated rail system. There's a knob on top. You'll see this knob here, and you can just twist that. If you loosen that off, it then releases the rail system, which is a smooth action. And the benefit of the integrated rail system is it doesn't take as much room at the back. If you compare it against a normal Mitre saw, the rails will stick out far beyond the back of the saw, which if you're lacking in space is not ideal. So with the integrated rail system, if you can see, it just slides along those rails here. I'll try and move it around so you've got a better view. There's a nice smooth action on those, and you can lock it back in if you're only just doing chop cuts and you don't need that system. Now moving on to the back to do the beveled, it's got the lock here which you can turn, and it goes again up to 48 degrees. Only in one way, it's a single bevel, and it locks in at the back. So actually using the saw itself, so it's got quite a lot of safety features in this. Some people may think it's a bit over the top and it does get in the way, but to actually even turn the saw on, there's a trigger here that you need to push in with your palm, and then there's a button at the side which you need to press in before you can even press the trigger. Now without all these in place, it won't actually fire up. So even without pressing that, so you need to press this one for it to start. It's quite a soft start. It's not very loud at all. So with the 774, the main difference with this and the 773 is it's got the shadow line function. So when this trigger is pushed in to its full depth, then you can see a light comes on. I will show you a closer look at that, but with the shadow function, it just gives you a shadow line rather than a laser, and with that, it doesn't matter about the curve of the blade, it will always show the correct shadow line for that. So we've got the bog standard clamp clamp your piece of wood to the mitre saw and keep it nice and sturdy. It does have a section on the other side, however it's redundant basically because of the motor on the side here. If you were to put the clamp here and when you try to put it down, it's just going to crash into it. It doesn't actually work, so I'm not sure why they've actually put the hole on that side. So I'll just show you how the shadow line works. So as you can see, initially you can't see it, but once you actually lower the blade, the shadow line appears. Hopefully you can see that on camera. And it is, you know, placing the blade onto it, it is bob on onto the actual shadow line itself. So I'm just going to do a bit of a cut just to see how it is out the box. I haven't actually got a square which is small enough to measure how true it is out the box, but believe so, looking at other reviews, it is normally fairly square out the box, but you can adjust it in a multitude of ways regarding the fence, with a couple of screws at the back, or for the actual bevel cut at the back as well. So I've just noticed that as I was setting up for the cut and attaching my dust extraction, my hose doesn't actually fit directly onto it. It just doesn't do that, and that's unfortunate. It comes with the Dewalt airlock system, which I haven't got anything like that. So I have got an adapter which luckily works, so it connects onto my hose and then it snugly fits into the saw, which is fine by me. So that's the first cut I've made with it, and I actually didn't even feel it go through it. It didn't even put up any resistance at all. I mean, it is only a bit of pine, so it's not the hardest of woods at all. But as for the cut itself, you know, there is a bit of splintering, but nothing that a bit of sandpaper can knock off. The blade is going to be, you know, a reasonable quality. I know a lot of people would swap out the blade anyway to one of the better brand ones. So there we go, that's my first cut with the saw, which it went as expected. I knew it would be fantastic compared to my previous saw. The dust extraction was really good, hardly any dust came out, just a little bit on the front plate. I do want to bring it up about this front plate though, which I've noticed about it is it's very big. You know, it definitely fits a finger in there. I'm not sure the reason behind that, but a zero insert plate is definitely on the cards. I think a lot of people would do that. For a small, you know, cut, it's definitely going to get lost down there. So I don't know if anyone knows the reason why it is so big. Just, you know, leave me a comment below. I put it next to the saw that I've got. Now I'm not comparing the two in terms of performance because there's only going to be one winner. I'm just putting it next to it so you can see the size difference for a normal Mitre saw. So the Dewalt 773 and the 774 obviously have the integrated rail. So this is how it would be against the wall. You will need a bit of space for the dust extraction, but when you look at it compared to this one, which is the Work Zone titanium with the rail at the back, you're looking at like another 30-40 centimeters difference. So there's a huge storage difference between the two, which is one of the main reasons why I've gone for this one. The main one is that I think I'm ready in my journey is to upgrade to the Dewalt, which is why I purchased this one. I think the accuracy of this saw compared to that one is going to help with a lot of my future products. The storage side with the slight integrated rail is going to help when I set up my own Mitre station, and especially with the shadow line. That's the reason why I went for this over the 773, is for the shadow line. There's a bit of a difference in price, but I think it's probably is worth it just for accuracy of cuts. I think that's the main reason I've gone for this. So this is a review as sorts. Obviously it's not a full in-depth review because I haven't used it for any projects yet. So I will be doing it along the way. I'll be using it for various products. My next one, which is going to be some workshop storage, I'm definitely going to be using that one. It's time to say goodbye to the work zone. It has served me well for the last like 3 or 4 years. It's done fantastic for what I needed it for a beginner's saw at £100. I've got no complaints whatsoever. But it's onwards and upwards with the Dewalt. So that's my first look and review of the Dewalt. I probably will revisit it after I've used it for several months and come back and have a more in-depth review. Just let me know if you actually want to see that in the comments below. But thanks everyone for watching, I really appreciate it. If you did like this video, can I have a like please? And if you haven't already, I really would appreciate a subscribe. Thanks very much.